During one of their final royal events, Harry started heading over to speak with someone across the room, but Meghan quickly stepped in, guiding him away as if she was pulling him like a leash. Harry's recent reputation has been linked to controversial decisions and his growing distance from royal duties. Now, rumors suggesting he may be a victim of domestic abuse have shocked and angered many. Is this a new chapter in the ongoing drama of his life, or is it just another attempt to gain sympathy? Looking back at Harry's past decisions, many believe that his current struggles are the natural consequence of the impulsive and poor choices he made. Photos showing visible injuries on his hands and face, possibly from being physically hit, have fueled these concerns. A psychology professor has described Harry and Meghan's relationship as one of narcissistic codependency. Survivors of narcissistic abuse see similarities between Meghan and their own experiences. Even Meghan's own family has expressed belief that she may have narcissistic personality disorder. Many now claim that Meghan is emotionally abusing Harry, isolating him from his family and using him for financial gain. Unfortunately, emotional abuse from women is often overlooked, as seen in the well-known case of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Personally, I believe Meghan may be emotionally tormenting Harry, pushing him to hate and spread lies about his own family. Meghan has already made false claims and threatened the royal family while also abandoning her father during his recovery from 2 heart attacks. How much worse could she be treating her husband? Her former employees described her as a volatile sociopath who mistreated them so severely that half of them resigned. If a woman behaves this way toward others, it's likely she treats her husband the same. In abusive relationships, especially with narcissists, the signs are often hidden in plain sight. When it comes to individuals like Meghan, the warnings from former family members and victims should never be ignored. Meghan's former colleagues and family have tried to warn the public about her true nature. Many believe that karma will soon catch up with her. From the start, Meghan struggled to fit into the royal family, often having angry outbursts that were difficult for them to manage. Being older and set in her ways, she found it hard to adapt. When Harry and Meghan moved to the US, they sought publicity to help support themselves. But instead of being honest about the situation, Meghan placed blame on the royal family, painting herself in a positive light. While I can understand why they did the Oprah interview, hoping to eventually stop relying on royal handouts, the timing was unfortunate. As Prince Philip wisely said, it all feels like a TV drama. It's sad that they chose his final days to publicly disrespect the royal family. Shame on Harry and Meghan. Throughout his life, Harry has been protected and sheltered by royal handlers, leaving him without much real-world experience. He's now being led by his wife, following her direction because he's never truly had to take care of himself. No matter what he says now, it seems like Meghan has some kind of hold over him, and it's likely far worse than what they're accusing the royal family of. Harry appears miserable, isolated from friends and family, relying only on surrogates. The laws in the US are different and may be more easily enforced compared to the UK, so it might work in Meghan's favor unless someone offers the surrogate more than the non-disclosure agreement is worth. It seems Meghan has convinced Harry that he's a failure and must depend on her to guide him through life, as if he's incapable of managing on his own. This is a clear case of gaslighting. Look it up, and you'll see why Meghan always takes the lead, guiding Harry like a child. From the beginning, it was clear that Harry was under her control. Just consider the absence of his longtime friends, especially those from the army, at the wedding. I was surprised that even Usain Bolt, with whom Harry shared a fun bond, wasn't invited. The only exception was poor Chelsea Davy, and that seemed like Meghan's insecure way of rubbing it in. Meghan probably didn't want any of Harry's famous friends to steal the spotlight from her. If you look closely, it seems like Harry is struggling mentally, which might explain his drastic change in behavior. I didn't watch the Netflix documentary, but I did catch Bradley's interview and some snippets of Harry's other interviews. It all points to something deeper going on with him. Harry looked distant and anxious. His thoughts seemed scattered, and he struggled to form coherent sentences, sometimes making little sense. His eyes were darting around, and at times they seemed glazed over. It's as if he has suddenly become deeply traumatized by his own life. As for his book, it's better left untouched. Many of the stories were inappropriate, some even cruel. What's with him constantly rubbing his nose? The rapid speech is especially concerning as it often signals a breakdown. Watching him like this is painful because it seems clear he is unwell. I sincerely hope he isn't paying for the questionable therapy he's receiving in the US, as it seems to be doing more harm than good. If he's on medication, the drinking and drug use will only interfere with its effectiveness. He appears impulsive and unable to stay focused, which is a worrying sign. Harry doesn't seem too sharp, which might be due to something like a DHD or AD. He has a lot of energy but gets easily distracted and struggles to organize his thoughts. He's quick to anger, blames others, and seems unable to recognize the truth. He often falls for anyone with a sad story, and his life is constantly filled with drama. The term mentally ill is a bit scary, in my opinion. A psychiatrist friend once told me it's helpful to think about mental health the same way we do physical health. Some people may have less mental well-being than others, but that doesn't always mean they're mentally ill or have a specific diagnosis. Just like obesity or high blood pressure might not be ideal, they don't necessarily mean someone is sick. The same can be true for mental health issues. From what Harry has written in his book, it's clear he faces several challenges. He has never truly moved past the loss of his mother and the weight of responsibility he feels toward her. He also still carries unresolved feelings toward his father. Harry described feeling overwhelmed and inadequate while attending Eton, especially in comparison to his peers. He's been open about his struggles with panic attacks and anxiety since returning from Afghanistan, and while he doesn't openly admit it, it seems likely he fears losing Meghan in the same way he lost his mother. Though it might be harsh to label him as mentally ill, I think even Harry would acknowledge that he's not in the best mental health, and he faces several ongoing issues. While he may have personal flaws, he seems fairly aware of his mental health struggles. So how did Harry end up here? It seems to stem from arrogance, foolishness, greed, and jealousy. He believed his own hype, thinking he could pick and choose the royal events that suited him and Meghan, all while using the royal family for financial gain. He comes across as petty, entitled, and jealous, particularly of his brother, expecting whatever William has to be handed to him as well. Harry was also warned by family and friends about Meghan, who they saw as a manipulative gold digger with serious personality issues and an inflated sense of self. But he ignored them. She managed to manipulate him, perhaps even using a pregnancy claim to force his hand. In trying to harm his family for petty revenge and financial gain, Harry only added to his own misery. His actions, combined with his hypocrisy, have turned him into a figure of ridicule. All of Harry's complaining about his father and brother is silly, especially since they seem to be doing well without him or his problematic wife. What makes Harry even more foolish is his failure to recognize how lucky he is to live such a privileged life. He views the world with a glass-half-empty perspective instead of appreciating what he has. Now, after facing a harsh reality alongside his crass partner, he has to deal with the consequences of his poor choices. While he may have the safety net of his royal family, he has still caused irreparable harm. His father indulged him whatever he wanted, he got. He never had to pay for anything, not even a mobile phone. For instance, when Tyler Perry loaned him $7 million to buy his estate, he seemed to think it was a gift that didn't need to be repaid. His father even covered the PS4.2 million renovation at Frogmore and provided him the money to pay it back. Harry paid back PS $68,000 but kept the rest of the money, even though it turned out that many of the promised renovations weren't done. Meghan reportedly took PS $10 million worth of jewelry, claiming it was lost. When they left, they allegedly stole PS $30 million and even took money from royal charities. MI6 had to retrieve one of the expensive tiaras she took. Harry wants police protection, money, and titles but continues to criticize the family. It's frustrating. I could use a word starting with C ending with T and containing two letters in the middle to describe this situation. Meghan and Doria seem to embody traits that are evil, unhappy, uneducated, unintelligent, unkind, and ungrateful. They seem unable to act like decent human beings and are unimpressive, untruthful, and undeniably traitorous. Their ignorance is striking, and there's so much more that could be said. Do any of these traits sound like they belong to someone who is truly well? Their brand, or perhaps her reputation, is something she'll struggle to change. Meghan definitely gives off a mean girl vibe, and it's hard to ignore that image. It's almost like she's dropping dog biscuits right before we see her true colors. It's fascinating to watch Meghan Markle's rapid rise and fall. She once captivated the world with her fairy tale wedding and her promises to modernize the monarchy, but now one can't help but wonder if she has reached the end of her turbulent journey. Her relentless chase for fame, combined with a series of public missteps and questionable decisions, has transformed her from a symbol of change into a caricature of entitlement and hypocrisy. Is there any way for her to rehabilitate her image, or has she sealed her fate as a cautionary tale of ambition gone wrong? The outlook seems grim, as each attempt she makes to regain public favor only emphasizes her disconnect from the values she once claimed to uphold. In this case, the saying you reap what you sow rings true. While she could offer apologies to those she has offended, it's unlikely that would be enough without genuine virtuous actions to back them up. Sincere good deeds could certainly help Meghan, especially for the causes she supports. Why can't she and Harry be given the same opportunities for rehabilitation and forgiveness that society offers to felons? Rebuilding her reputation will require her to perform genuine acts of kindness, live life to the fullest, and stop disparaging the hard work of others. Her words and actions often reveal her sense of entitlement. She needs to stop frantically trying to fit in where she's not welcome. If she focuses on improving herself, people may naturally gravitate toward her and Harry. While I'm uncertain about the possibility of forgiveness, realistically speaking, it seems she lacks the capacity to make these changes. I doubt she can truly rehabilitate her image. She has developed a reputation as a liar and a bully, especially toward elderly people, and those from her past describe her as nasty, vindictive, and a social climber willing to do anything to get what she wants. She is deeply disliked in the UK because of her actions and statements about the late Queen and Prince Philip. Even if people could overlook her accusations against the King, Queen William, and Catherine, they will never forgive her for going on Oprah and claiming racism while Prince Philip was near death, or for the distress she caused the Queen in her final years. Harry is equally responsible for letting it happen. It's clear she lives in a world of make-believe, treating her marriage as a facade, and since she faces no consequences, she just keeps going. Is her behavior the result of a serious personality disorder, or was she raised in a way that spoiled her without boundaries or discipline? After seeing her use a wheelchair athlete at the Invictus Games for a photo op, I thought she couldn't sink any lower. That Harry has always had a cruel side. His actions towards women and animals make that clear, and his jealousy is dangerous. Some of the things he wrote in his book reveal how spiteful he can be, like when he mentioned wanting to blow up his father's car during a flyover. It shows the depth of his anger. What if his father had been inside? Allowing his wife to treat his family so poorly is truly appalling. As for Markle, she is a manipulative person, having identified as white for much of her life, only to later claim a mixed race identity to stir controversy and gain sympathy. It's disgraceful. I can't understand why some people still support them. They seem beyond help, convinced that they are the most adored and important people in the world. They truly deserve each other, and I, for one, will relish the day their downfall comes. Harry's troubled past doesn't excuse all his mistakes. There are countless children who have faced worse circumstances, yet they use their hardships to rise above and become better. Unfortunately, he met Meghan, and together they seem to feed off each other's narcissism, greed, and lack of human decency. Their relationship feels like a toxic match, and their shared cruelty appears limitless. I sincerely hope they never return to their royal duties. If the king feels the need to reconcile with his deceitful son, let it be done privately. However, allowing this disloyal couple to have any public involvement with the royal family would be a mistake that could even cost him William's loyalty. The king should pay attention to the British people, as he risks losing a lot of their support if he allows Harry and his wife back. She seems to be trying, but as usual, she's overexposing herself. She appears in the spotlight 3 or 4 times a week, mostly because she has her own camera crew following them, and she's still choosing things she's not particularly good at. Her new Netflix show on cooking, lifestyle, fashion, and friendship might do better if she dropped the cooking and friendship parts. She certainly knows about the lifestyle she wants and has a strong sense of fashion, although she still struggles to dress appropriately for certain occasions. However, she didn't even bake her own banana bread when gifting it to someone. As for friendship, considering how many people she has cut ties with over the years, it's hard to imagine her being convincing in that area. Harry needs to leave her. She has completely ruined his life, and he has lost everything because of her. He follows her like a helpless puppy, and it feels like she's controlling him, maybe even giving him something to keep him under her influence. She's a narcissist, manipulative, and possibly even using dark methods to control him. It wouldn't be surprising given her background. She needs to go and never be allowed back. Honestly, send her as far as the moon. I'm tired of hearing these stories, but no one seems to be doing anything about it. The media keeps fueling it because it sells, and in that sense, they're just as guilty as Meghan. It's exhausting to read constant mockery and insults. Her comments about the late queen damaged her reputation more than anything else. She's not only disrespectful to elders, but to everyone around her. If she's about to sign a deal with Netflix, we won't be watching anything she's involved in or produces. Meghan has a narcissistic personality disorder, which is a permanent condition that doesn't change with therapy, unlike mental illnesses. She shows signs of being a grandiose and malignant narcissist. She treated the royal family with extreme cruelty, even though the late queen went out of her way to include her in private family events, something Catherine wasn't allowed to do. Meghan also got to participate in public royal engagements early on, which Catherine had to wait much longer to experience after marrying William. Like most narcissists, Meghan is skilled at playing the victim and seems to be able to fool a segment of the population. Even though most people can see through her lies, I suspect she will keep marketing herself to that gullible group of people who will always be her fans. At this point, the best excuse she could come up with is claiming she was under the influence of some drug that made her lose her grip on reality. She could say it clouded her judgment, made her misread every situation, and led her to make false accusations against the very people who were kind to her. Maybe the drug even convinced her she was a great humanitarian, though all she did was frustrate those around her. She might believe a few influencers sampling her jam would somehow save her and her prince. It was a bad, bad drug, and now she's sorry. Of course that won't work, but it couldn't hurt to try. The truth is, Meghan will never be loved or welcomed back. She's burned too many bridges and revealed her true nature one too many times. Her constant need for attention and her endless manipulation of facts have left everyone fed up. She's proven herself to be one of the most despicable figures I've ever written about. She consistently places her own ambitions above the well-being of others. Her repeated betrayals, constant drama, and disregard for the feelings and reputations of those around her have made her a social outcast. No amount of PR or carefully staged interviews can undo the damage she's caused or rebuild the trust she's broken. Every move she makes feels calculated and insincere, pushing away even those who once might have sympathized with her. The public sees right through her facade, recognizing the narcissism and deceit behind her actions. Even her attempts to portray herself as a victim come across as empty, as her behavior always contradicts her words. Meghan's arrogance and inflated sense of self-worth have led her into isolation, where her only companion seems to be her own ego. She's become a cautionary tale, a glaring example of how not to handle fame and influence. In the end, it's likely that Meghan may find herself isolated, with her name associated with betrayal and hypocrisy. Despite her efforts to stay in the public eye, she will likely never receive the genuine affection and acceptance she seems to crave. The public has seen her actions and words, and the damage caused to her reputation may be irreversible. As for whether I would bow to her, it's understandable that many people, like yourself, feel strongly about this. Bowing or curtsying to someone like Meghan, especially in light of her controversial actions, would feel difficult for those who have lost respect for her. Her treatment of the royal family, particularly during sensitive times such as Prince Philip's passing and Queen Elizabeth II's final years, has left many feeling that she disrespected the monarchy. Her apparent rivalry with Princess Catherine, who is poised to be queen, only adds to the negative perception that many have of her. The question of showing respect in the form of bowing or curtsying is deeply personal. For those who no longer view her as deserving of such gestures, it's completely understandable to feel as though she is not above anyone else. One day, Meghan imagined living in Windsor Castle and being a queen. Then she realized that being a senior royal wasn't what she really wanted. She and Prince Harry chose to spend half the year in the US, and the other half on royal duties. However, our late Queen Elizabeth told them they had to choose one path, either be all in or all out. So they decided to leave completely and earn their own money in the States. This hasn't gone as well as they hoped, partly because of Meghan's spending habits. She seems eager to become a top actress, but struggles to get invited to events for A-list stars and is spending a lot on public relations teams to help her. Let's be honest, since moving to Montecito, Harry and Meghan have thrown out all royal rules in their personal lives. They don't expect people to bow or curtsy anymore, and they prefer using their names instead of titles when meeting others. When Meghan and Harry speak in public, they are often introduced by their titles, but it's not because they ask for it. Event hosts want to remind everyone that they have royalty on stage. They are still considered royalty, but they don't feel the need to emphasize that every time they leave their home. However, Meghan faces a tough challenge in regaining her image, especially since her husband is struggling with serious issues. They have also portrayed themselves as victims, often voicing complaints. Recently, Meghan has been encouraging Harry to take a break from stress and the media noise due to his recent challenges, which include family health problems and court cases. Although Harry has made a few brief trips back to the UK, he remains distant from his family, which is really weighing on him. Meghan is encouraging Harry to take a complete break from the media to help him heal. Despite his struggles, Harry reportedly wants to have a permanent home in the UK, but Meghan's hesitation to go back makes this difficult. It's not just about Harry needing to break free from his media habits, he also needs to address his drug issues. Life in Los Angeles and Hollywood doesn't seem to lift his spirits. Instead, it leads him into dangerous situations. Meghan, with her nervous energy and sense of humor, believes that stepping away from the spotlight and taking time to find herself could solve their problems. However, it's more than just shutting out the press or seeking solitude. They need to rebuild a life that has already been marked by drama and scandal. Harry must genuinely recover from the emotional scars of his family issues and confront his own challenges. Meghan, who has always known how to be the center of attention, now tells her husband to lay low and avoid anything that might cause trouble. She might believe that a quiet summer and detox could solve their problems, but does that really work, or is it just another unrealistic expectation in their complicated story? Harry chose to leave, so he can't expect others to be responsible for his security. The public largely hasn't accepted him or his family. Other working royals only get protection while they are on official duties, and many don't want Harry and Meghan in that role at all. Besides, what heavy workload is Harry managing? It seems more like Meghan is trying to find him the right professional help. Doesn't that sound a bit off? It feels like she wants to keep Harry away from everything so she can maintain control and stay at the center of attention. It seems like there's a poor me moment when Meghan talks about Harry's struggles, using him and their kids as props in their story. His rough plans and busy schedule are almost laughable. He doesn't really understand what work means, and his hectic schedule mainly involves suing people and relying on others. On top of that, he has to cater to Meghan, who has a talent for turning every situation into a dramatic spectacle. Meghan appears more focused on keeping her public image intact rather than genuinely reconciling with family. It's almost funny how Harry's busy life revolves around lawsuits and playing the victim, while Meghan pulls the strings behind the scenes. Their supposed need for a detox feels more like a desperate attempt to escape the chaos they've created for themselves. One can't help but wonder if Harry's struggle isn't just with his family or the media, but also with the fact that his life has turned into a series of poorly scripted episodes in a reality show that nobody wanted to watch. It's ironic when you look at Harry's situation. Once a prince with endless opportunities, he's now caught in a cycle of self-pity and public humiliation. Meghan's constant demands and manipulation only make things worse. They keep seeking relief from the spotlight, yet always return to it, creating a never-ending drama that's draining and self-made. The real question is, can Harry ever escape this mess and find a true sense of purpose, or will he stay trapped in Meghan's quest for attention and relevance? Only time will tell if they can break free from this tangled situation or remain subjects of public ridicule and gossip. I just hope they don't manage to cover it all up with tricks, trying to gain sympathy for what they've done. It's simply too little, too late. She's finally pushed him too far. The carefully crafted image they built is falling apart, and people are no longer buying into their story of being victims or seeking redemption. Their efforts to gain sympathy feel empty and fake. The damage is done, and no amount of media breaks or PR spin can fix the chaos they've caused. Harry's dive into lawsuits and media battles has stripped him of the charm and relatability he once had. He's no longer the fun-loving prince who won hearts with his genuine smile and adventurous nature. Now he's a man lost in a sea of bitterness and regret, unable to handle the life he chose. As Meghan continues to manage their public appearances and statements, it's becoming more obvious that her influence is doing more harm than good. Her ambition, while sometimes admirable, has driven a wedge between Harry and everything he once valued. Close friends, family, and even loyal supporters have been left behind as she continues her relentless quest for control. This troubling path leads to a difficult question: how much further can Harry fall before he hits rock bottom? The sympathy they hope for is unlikely to come, as the world watches their self-made drama with a mix of disbelief and mockery. What healing! He brought this all on himself, starting with his attachment to her, the so-called Queen Mumba Jumbo of Nigeria. For now, they're only just starting to realize they've become social outcasts, irrelevant to the world. But this is the same Harry who once claimed he'd found freedom, showing pity for his father and brother. saying they were trapped and couldn't escape. He even said he had never been happier. So what went wrong? Harry is almost 40, not a child, and should know better. Harry made the choice to move his family to Montecito, and choices come with consequences. It's time for him to grow up and stop acting like a victim. Millions of people move abroad with their families and just get on with their lives. Maybe Harry is now realizing that living the independent life they want costs millions, and that Netflix deal isn't guaranteed to keep coming in. Spotify dropped them, and now he's wondering how they'll afford the private jets, luxury hotels, holiday security, private school fees, and their massive mortgage. No wonder the know-it-all is selling jam. Something big better happen soon. Or they'll be asking Charles for help, showing up exactly as a truly supportive partner should. A partner should never be pitted against their own family, no matter the past. There are always two sides to every story. I'm married to a white American man from the South, and even in that, understanding and balance are key. Being a person of color hasn't been easy, but practicing detachment has helped me tremendously, and I've gained respect because of it. There was some resentment in the past, but my husband shared his upbringing with me, and I chose not to stand between him and his family. Family, after all, matters. There's more to gain than to lose by staying connected. It's not about ignoring the issues, it's about maintaining dignity. But moving on, does this mean the rest of the world can finally get a break from their toxic drama and constant leaks? And who's responsible for leaking these stories about Harry falling apart and struggling with his mental health? Can you imagine if one of Harry's friends had leaked something like that about her? We all know what Harry really needs for his own well-being. It's not just a media break, it's a break from Meghan. She's the reason he can't talk to his family or stay informed, because she's the one feeding stories to Scobie and others. She's the source of months of bad publicity, with everything revolving around her actions, her behavior, and her PR games. I'm sure Harry won't be happy when he sees this latest story, but this time he can't point fingers at the palace or William. For this, the blame lies elsewhere. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle misled the public when it came to the issue of racism. Meghan claimed that racism drove her out of the UK, stating that now people are very aware of my race because they made it such an issue when I went to the UK, but before that, most people didn't treat me like a black woman. However, it raises a question: why did Meghan feel the need to identify as Caucasian in America, yet openly embrace her biracial identity in the UK? This contradiction highlights her critique of racial dynamics in the US, where she perceived race as a barrier to success. Meanwhile, in the UK, where diversity is more celebrated, she freely embraced her mixed heritage. Meghan's shifting self-presentation reflects her views on America's racial biases. Since her birth certificate clearly shows she was born in the United States, it's puzzling why she would list Caucasian as her ethnic origin. Could it be that non-white individuals in America face hidden discrimination when applying for jobs, with only the exceptionally gifted gaining acceptance after a long struggle? Or perhaps, given her lighter skin tone, she felt she could pass as Caucasian to land more acting roles, especially in the UK, where diversity might offer her more opportunities to embrace both sides of her identity. In the pre-audition process, being able to fit a specific character type is crucial. Each casting call receives a large number of applications, and many are quickly eliminated through a paper sift, narrowing down the pool to those who meet the initial criteria. From there, candidates move on to the next round, which can eventually lead to a job offer, but only if they pass that first screening. I recently attended a debate where a British actress who was married to an American actor was auditioning for a role specifically meant for an American actor to boost the show's appeal in the US. As the audition process went on and she got closer to being cast, she kept asking her agent to inform the producers that she was British. However, her agent kept delaying it because he had submitted her for the role under the false claim that she was American. She was cast for the role because she was believed to be American, and she kept up this act for 2 full seasons of the show. To maintain the pretense, she had to keep her American accent even off stage. Everyone was fooled until the show's star invited her and her spouse to an exclusive event, where he discovered her secret. Afterward, she made some playful comments to the team about her British accent, but she didn't reveal the truth until she was about to leave the show. Now, I'm not saying Meghan could sustain this level of deception, but in the acting world, an actress must be invited to audition in order to even be considered for a role. Agents are paid to help actors find work, and if an agent believes that claiming to be Caucasian could result in more auditions, that could explain why such a note was made in her file. It may have been seen as a way to increase her chances of being evaluated for roles. There's a belief that in the United States, race still plays a role when applying for jobs. While there are bigots in the UK, just like anywhere else, the majority of Brits don't see it as such a significant issue. Meghan may have felt less pressure to follow local customs in the UK thanks to her royal status and possibly believed she could gain more attention by making controversial statements, speaking about certain issues but not truly standing by what she advocated for others. She may have moved to Canada and later California because she couldn't make the impact she wanted in the UK, perhaps due to holding on to her American values and background. From the start, I've believed that Meghan, or Rachel, only began to emphasize her identity as a woman of color when she realized she wouldn't become the center of attention within the royal family, especially when it became clear she wouldn't be queen. After Queen Elizabeth, Meghan seemed to have a misguided belief that she was the most valuable person in the royal family. That's when she decided to highlight her biracial identity and use the race card to draw attention to herself. From the start, I've said that the only person in the royal family who made race an issue was Meghan herself, supported by Harry. Meghan has often referred to herself as being black like her mother and white like her father. She is biracial, and she even played a biracial character in Suits. Her close relationship with her mother has always been public. I think how she chooses to identify is entirely her decision. However, I do take issue with her painting the UK public and the royal family as racist, especially when she was warmly welcomed when she got engaged. Harry's claim that the family was jealous of her popularity, followed by the narrative that they had to leave due to racism, just doesn't seem to add up. It really doesn't add up. Meghan chose not to invite either her black or white family members to her wedding, and the fact that she excluded her siblings and cousins speaks more about her own dysfunctional family than it does about race. She seems to adjust her identity based on what suits her and her agenda at the moment. For instance, she listed herself as Caucasian on her acting resume but suddenly identified as biracial after marrying Harry. This shift allowed her to cry racism against the royal family and the UK, which has become her favorite way to play the victim. Then she claimed to be of Maltese descent, and now her latest assertion is that she's 43% Nigerian, a remarkable claim considering that being Nigerian refers to nationality, not a specific ethnicity. I'm just waiting for Meghan to next assert that she has Native American heritage, as that seems to be a popular identity in Hollywood and another prime opportunity for her to seek attention and embrace victimhood. I recently came across a question that made me feel nauseous. Why do British people think they can criticize or mock Meghan, considering she is a minority? Who is the princess here? Since when has Meghan been called a princess? I won't mention who asked this, but hearing it made me very angry. In our free country, we have the right to express our opinions, and we aim to be fair in our assessments. If someone is being unreasonable, we'll tell them straight up. And what minority status are people claiming for her? Meghan is an American actress pretending to be a Disney princess? Yep. That's a minority in the UK. As for her ethnic background, it's hardly a focal point for us. You might have noticed that our Prime Minister is of Indian descent, and many of our top political leaders are men and women of African heritage. At first, we liked Meghan when she got together with Harry and wished them well. Harry was well liked here too. However, things changed when she started acting a bit spoiled. Then she began openly criticizing the royal family, which is something we can do, but she can't. It quickly became clear that she wanted the privileges that came with her position without putting in the hard work to earn them. When she claimed racial discrimination, that was the final straw for many of us, and as a nation, we decided to tell her to take a hike. If Meghan wants to run around insisting that people call her either a duchess or a princess, we have every right to criticize and mock her for her ignorance. She made her bed with lies, and now she has to lie in it. We don't bow down to fake royalty. Meghan wanted to be treated like a queen while enjoying all the perks without doing any of the work that comes with it. She just wanted to sit on the throne, be worshipped, adored, and given everything she wanted draped in jewels and fancy clothes. That's not what being a queen is about. It sounds more like a path to bankrupting the UK, while demanding the people pay more and more to support her never-ending riches. The royal family cares about the people of the UK, and the people love them for it. It's time Meghan accepted that she'll never hold a meaningful place in the royal family due to her behavior. They love to throw around their Sussex titles like confetti. I remember Meghan specifically saying that titles weren't important to her, especially since she expressed disdain for the monarchy. Yet here they are, clinging to those titles like barnacles on a hull, even attaching them to their children before the royal website was updated. They're both such hypocrites. They say distance makes the heart grow fonder, but that doesn't seem to be the case for Prince Harry. After stepping away from royal duties and making America his new home, he now seems eager to return to England, looking for a permanent place to settle. It's surprising to think that someone who left everything behind for a glamorous life in the US might now be missing the life he had in the UK. Has the charm of the land of opportunity faded, leaving him with bittersweet memories of the home he once vowed to leave forever? The real question is Harry feeling nostalgic for his homeland, or is something more personal driving his desire to come back? Or maybe after the rumored divorce, Meghan sent Harry back to the UK. What's really going on with him? According to Harry, he's determined to find a permanent home in the UK after being forced out of Frogmore Cottage. He's feeling nostalgic for his old life, his friends from Eton and the army, none of whom have visited him in the US. He's also continuing legal action to have British taxpayers cover his security costs. In his memoir Spare, Harry shared his sadness over losing Frogmore Cottage, which he once thought of as his forever home. At the same time, he's appealing the UK Home Office's decision to reduce his security detail. After making such a dramatic exit from royal life and fleeing to the glamour of America, Harry seems to have had a change of heart. Isn't it ironic? The man who couldn't wait to escape the royal life now seems eager to get back into it. It's almost comical how quickly the shine of the American dream has faded for Harry. After trading palaces for the paparazzi-filled streets of California, he's now longing for the very pomp and privilege he once rejected so boldly. It seems that the grass wasn't greener on the other side, after all. But let's be honest, this sudden desire for a permanent home in the UK isn't just about missing the past. Could it be that life without royal perks is a bit harsher than he expected? The freedom he sought appears to come with more complications than he imagined. Now, Harry seems to be looking back at his old life through rose-colored glasses, conveniently forgetting the reasons he left in the first place. And isn't it ironic that the same Harry who wanted to break free from royal obligations is now asking British taxpayers to fund his security while he splits his time between countries? His fight to get back the safety net he once dismissed tells a lot about a man who wants the best of both worlds without fully committing to either. If the UK is so dangerous, according to Harry, why is he so eager to have a residence here? Maybe he's starting to realize that his future in the US isn't as secure as he thought, and now he's looking for a safe haven. Even if he does return, he should be treated like any other citizen, no taxpayer-funded security. After all, his aunt and her family don't receive it, and she has more of a claim after surviving an actual kidnap attempt. It's like he's shooting himself in the foot. On top of everything, Harry has burned bridges with the real friends he once had. Before Meghan, they might have been able to keep him grounded, but she made sure that didn't happen. Can't have his friends speaking up about her controlling ways, right? She put an end to boys' nights out if she wasn't invited. Harry wasn't allowed to go. As for his military friends, Harry threw them under the bus by revealing sensitive details in Spare, potentially putting them in danger of retaliation from enemies. How can they trust him now? Anything they share could be used in future tell-all attacks against the royal family, the UK, and the Commonwealth. Sure, he can return to the UK, but he won't be welcomed back by his old friends. He's the one who chose to criticize his family and the people of Britain. If you can't handle the heat, stay out of the kitchen. The British public welcomed Meghan at first, but mocking the curtsy to the Queen, attacking senior royals, and saying nasty things about Camilla and Catherine, does he really think the public would embrace her again? It's unlikely. We don't want him back, and honestly, the entire spectacle with Harry and Meghan feels like a sideshow without a clear direction. It's hard to take seriously at this point. Prince Harry's sudden desire for a permanent UK residence is more confusing than convincing. It feels like a celebrity who craves the spotlight again after trying to escape it. His longing for the comforts of royal life after such a dramatic exit to America is both puzzling and hypocritical. One minute, he's rejecting the privileges and responsibilities of royalty, and the next he's asking the British public to cover his security while he flies between countries. It's a display of entitlement wrapped in contradictions. So is this a real yearning for his homeland, or a calculated move to regain the status and perks he left behind? His actions reek of privilege disguised as humility, a prince wanting the benefits of royalty without the duties. As the drama continues to unfold, Harry's search for stability seems more like a search for relevance. His story serves as a warning about the risks of chasing freedom without fully understanding the consequences. The circus may have left Sussex, but its star performer Prince Harry seems determined to keep the show alive wherever he goes. He should have thought about the consequences before he and Meghan trashed the family. The backlash from Sussex fans when you defend the royals is intense, and Harry and his wife are doing nothing to stop it. So I've lost all sympathy for them. Harry only makes things worse by suing everyone in sight. The truth is, they could have left the royal life with dignity and always been welcomed back. But the problem is, neither of them had the talent to build a paying career that could support the lifestyle they wanted right away. So, they chose to sell their privacy and dignity for money. Harry made his bed, and now he has to lie in it. He made his choices, but he still acts like he's entitled to everything, despite walking away from it all. Harry may have attended Eton, but his education seems to have done little to prepare him for understanding how the world or business works, let alone how to show respect when it's due. Can you imagine the chaos if he and Meghan settle in the UK? It would be lawsuits left and right, probably every day. Maybe they're running out of money that seems to be their main concern, along with protection. It's all about pushing their kids to the front, constant PR stunts, and selling anything they can, even jam. Does he really think we're that gullible? Ask anyone who's faced real bigotry if they'd want to return to it in luxury, all while being filmed for profit. And let's not forget, does Harry even remember he has 2 kids? One is supposedly in school, but no one knows where. A quick Google search doesn't show any child registered under Harry and Meghan, a California school system. Something doesn't add up. Is Harry really going to abandon his kids and head back to a country and family he once called full of bigotry? His own words in Spare come to mind. Once upon a time, this was going to be my forever home. Instead, it proved to be just another brief stop. And why was that, Harry? Frogmore Cottage was never going to satisfy Meghan. She had her sights set on Windsor Castle and being #1, something that was never going to happen. If Harry misses his friends so much, why hasn't he stayed in touch? He's quick to hop on a plane when it suits him. In his quest for endless self-promotion, he's now reaping what he's sown. He's finally learning that you can't have it both ways. You can't stab your family and country in the back and still expect to be welcomed with open arms. Harry is finding out the hard way that actions have consequences, and no amount of privilege can erase that. Additionally, Harry is not entitled to the high level of security he keeps insisting on. The truth is, he simply isn't that important anymore. Even as the king's son, that's a tough pill for him to swallow, but it's reality. The sooner he accepts this, the sooner he can move on with his life, whatever that might look like. Harry should focus on working hard to earn back the trust and respect he lost when he tossed his family and country aside. If he can tap into even a bit of common sense, he'll realize that he needs a stable home and should start building a life for himself, especially since no privileges are afforded to him by the crown or his family anymore. Moreover, it's hard to believe he thinks he deserves security in a country he has insulted and turned his back on so openly. If he really wants to be accepted again, he'll need to show some humility and accountability. He lives in a country filled with guns and daily shootings, not to mention mass violence, where you have to bob and weave just to walk down the street without getting shot. It's hard to believe he thinks he will be welcomed back to the UK, especially if Charles were to strip him of every title. The life Harry once enjoyed in the royal family is gone for good. Buying a holiday home in the UK won't change anything. The relationships he turned his back on with his family, friends, and country aren't where he left them. Harry cannot undo the hurt he has caused. The Queen passed away knowing that Harry had attacked her life's work. No one will ever forgive or trust him again, and geography won't change that. The truth is, Harry, you are not wanted in the UK. In fact, I doubt you'll find any country willing to endure your entitled demands and the spoiled behavior that comes with it. The only reason Harry wants a home in the UK is to try to fleece his father for money or sell more secrets to the highest bidder. His priorities seem clear. First, get the UK to pay for his security after running his mouth. Second, buy a house here and attempt to integrate himself and his 2 children into the royal household. Third, he appears to believe he can return to the life he had before marrying Meghan, who disliked his friends and was not welcomed by them either. With any luck, by the end of next year, once Netflix dumps them, we might not hear as much about them. The grass always looks greener on the other side, but there's usually a lot of manure underneath. Now, he wants a base in the UK, but I doubt his wife and mother-in-law, Doria Ragland will agree to it. After trashing his entire family and becoming estranged from his friends due to his wife's dislike of them and his lack of backbone to stand up for himself, what does he expect upon returning to the UK? A welcome party with a brass band, drums, majorettes, and the royal family? I think this guy is delusional. Well, that's all for today's video. Thank you for watching, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on these issues. Please share your opinions in the comments below. Hope you stay cheerful and happy. Don't forget to support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Goodbye, and see you in the next videos. Well, it looks like Meghan is trying to switch from Harry to William. Maybe that was her plan all along to become queen by being with William. It's pretty hilarious to think about. She seems to be subtly ignored, and is that Catherine right there? The thought of Catherine, the beloved Princess of Wales, losing her battle against cancer is truly heartbreaking. It raises serious questions about the future of the royal family. As the nation faces this grim possibility, people are starting to speculate about who might step into her role. Rose Hanbury, the Marchioness of Cholmondeley, stands out as a dignified and poised figure. In stark contrast, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, whose divisive actions and constant quest for media attention have drawn significant criticism, is a much more contentious option. Her estrangement from the royal family and her controversial public behavior have led many to doubt her suitability for such a respected position. The answer, without much thought, is definitely a no. Catherine is a mother of 3 small children who need her care. I truly hope she makes a full and speedy recovery. William has probably thought about this a lot during sleepless nights, but he has never openly discussed it, especially considering how young they all are. The last thing William wants is for his kids to experience the loss of their mother just as he did. It's clear that mothers are essential to children. William knows firsthand the challenges of growing up without his mom during those crucial years. No one wants that for the children of Wales. It's disgusting to even suggest that William would replace her like an old pair of shoes, and it sickens me to hear such things. The 2 women in question are reportedly in happy marriages, according to sources. In the unlikely event that the worst happens and the princess does not recover, I can't see William marrying again until his children are adults. He will focus on raising them, and I sincerely hope he isn't king at that time. He needs to be there for his kids when they need him most. William will focus on his children and continue with his usual activities. He has no other choice. It's my hope that God heals the princess so she can be there for her kids and eventually meet her grandchildren, sparing those little ones from sadness. Remember, what we put into the world comes back to us. You never know when you might be in the princess's situation, and someone could be hoping for your partner to step in for you. Also, let's not forget that Her Royal Highness mentioned this is just a precautionary measure, and she doesn't actually have cancer. She plans to return to her public duties as soon as she feels better and gets the okay from her doctors. I can imagine she's eager to get out and resume her regular life. Thinking about someone taking the place of our dear Catherine feels really sad and shows a lack of respect for the Prince and Princess of Wales and their kids. A wonderful reply was given by Country Girl, though. There are so many people with unkind hearts, why don't they just hide under a rock? On the bright side, many of us have kind hearts. We're all hoping for Princess Catherine's speedy recovery. I know when she's back out and about, it will bring joy to many, including me. I can't wait to see that big smile on Prince William's face, too. Some people seem to get so caught up in what the media says that they forget the Prince and Princess of Wales are real people with their own families. It's as if they think the royals are just characters in a show and that if something happens, they can easily find someone else to take their place. It's hard to believe that someone could be so disrespectful and think such unrealistic things. The royals aren't actors in a soap opera or TV drama. Instead of judging them, maybe we should consider the question who would step into your shoes and manage your family and responsibilities if something happened to you. It's essential to show kindness and understanding to a family dealing with 2 members fighting a terrible illness. As for Meghan, she will never be a princess or a queen, and she's not even a duchess in the traditional sense. She simply married a prince, and a duchess is just the wife of a duke, nothing more. A duchess is just a courtesy title, nothing more. It doesn't give you any special status. A duchess, like an in-law, is still considered a commoner. You never had a title of your own, and you're not referred to as Duchess Meghan or even Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex. You're simply Meghan Markle, not the Duchess of Sussex. Unfortunately, your dream wasn't meant to be, and it's sad to say your life took a different turn. The title Princess of Wales is given to the wife of the Prince of Wales. Diana got this title when she married Charles, and Camilla had the chance to use it too. However, she chose not to, out of respect for the strong memories people had of Diana. When Charles became king, William took on the title of Prince of Wales, making Catherine the new Princess of Wales. If Catherine were to pass away and William remarried, his new wife could be given the same title. However, just like Camilla, she might not use it out of respect for Catherine, as no other woman could truly hold that place. Catherine mentioned that her treatment is preventative, so it seems clear she doesn't have cancer. The doctors are simply being cautious and taking steps to ensure her health. King Charles is also undergoing treatment for cancer, and he's doing well, so there's no reason to think the Princess of Wales won't make a full recovery as well. Also, there's no need to assume William would need another woman. Whether he's married or widowed, he remains the heir to the throne and will be king regardless. As for Rose, she was never his mistress and still isn't. She's simply a family friend, nothing more. The rumors about an affair were false and were likely stirred up by the same harmful forces that seem to be constantly attacking William and Catherine. As for the idea of William marrying someone else, especially someone with a controversial past, it's clear he has already rejected such advances before and would do so again. These kinds of rumors only serve to create unnecessary drama, and it's time to leave them behind. William is a man of high standards and would never associate with people of low character. Rose Hanbury is happily married with children and has never had an affair with William. Meghan cannot inherit Catherine's title, as Harry's not the Prince of Wales. The next Princess of Wales will likely be the wife of Prince George, who is expected to inherit the title from his father one day. As for now, Catherine still holds the title of Princess of Wales and will likely do so for many years. She is receiving excellent care, making it unlikely she'll lose her battle with illness. If the unthinkable were to happen, William, being a dedicated and responsible person, would focus entirely on the well-being of his children. Not every widow rushes into a new relationship, and in truth, Catherine is irreplaceable. Mentioning Rose Hanbury is unnecessary. She is a married woman with a family, and there is no romantic involvement between her and William. William doesn't love her, and she doesn't love him. As for Meghan Markle, if she's supposedly so happy with William's brother, why even bring up such baseless comparisons? William can't stand her, and it's clear that these are the only two names some people seem to focus on, which is just stirring up unnecessary drama. Your question is offensive and inappropriate, and it's hard not to assume you know that but simply don't care. Find a better way to spend your time. The constant attempts to pit Meghan against other women is troubling. Meghan has consistently caused issues since joining the royal family, from embarrassing them to using her public image for personal gain. Her divisive actions and irresponsible behavior only add to the problems. Meghan could never take on the role of Princess of Wales, someone who represents unity, grace, and elegance, qualities that Catherine has embodied so beautifully. While someone like Rose Hanbury, with her elegance and discretion, could be seen as a worthy candidate for respect, Meghan Markle would only stir up anxiety and frustration if she ever took on such a prestigious role. Meghan, it's time to find something positive and meaningful to focus on. Harboring hate, envy, and bitterness, especially toward Catherine, isn't doing you any favors. These emotions cause stress, and stress can lead to health problems and even premature aging. If you have children, perhaps spend more quality time with them. Find a hobby, read a book, or take a peaceful walk. And don't forget to give your friends a call once in a while. Honestly, it's hard to imagine that Prince William would ever look at you with anything other than distance. If I were Meghan, I'd feel embarrassed by now. How could anyone compare her to Catherine? Catherine, the Duchess of Cambridge, is the epitome of grace, courage, and kindness. Her actions have not only made her one of the most beloved princesses, but they've also shown the strength and compassion she carries within. Catherine's graceful actions, from sending heartfelt thank you notes to participating in charitable events, only enhance her natural beauty. Her dedication to helping others reflects her deep passion for the community. With all of this, it's easy to see why people admire and cherish Catherine as a symbol of kindness and love. We all hope she makes a full recovery and returns to us in great health. Despite her illness, Catherine continues to offer hope. Even those tough guards who protect her care deeply for their colonel-in-chief, just as she cares for them. Our beloved Princess Catherine still finds time to write to others, sharing her warmth and understanding. Catherine's generosity shines through as she reaches out to people in need. showing her constant commitment to offering comfort and assistance. Her acts of compassion truly reflect her caring nature. As we witness her amazing kindness, let us send our thoughts and prayers not only to her but to the entire royal family and to anyone facing difficult times right now. May their strength and perseverance help them through this challenging time, and may the love and support of others bring comfort and healing along the way. As Princess Catherine undergoes treatment, she may have experienced the loss of her long hair, which is a deeply personal and emotional moment for anyone in such a situation. She deserves absolute privacy and respect during this time without any unnecessary intrusion into her personal life. Let's honor her courage and dignity by giving her the space she needs to face this journey with grace and strength. Our thoughts and support remain with her as she continues her battle. It has been too long since we last saw the lovely Princess Catherine, and many of us wonder how much longer we will have to wait to see our beloved future queen again. Something just doesn't feel right. May God bless her with a full recovery. You are right, she is a beautiful soul who will be deeply missed if absent from public life. In reality, it may feel like a long time, especially because people miss the joy that Princess Catherine brings with her presence. Cancer is a terrible disease that affects people regardless of their beauty or goodness. Thankfully, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, is undergoing treatment that will allow her to continue being a shining example of womanhood for years to come. So don't lose hope. When she is ready to return to public life with her usual happiness and vibrancy, we will all benefit from it. It's upsetting to see negative comments directed at her. She doesn't deserve to be the target of such remarks, and these attacks need to stop. She needs support, not negativity. Cancer and its treatments, whether radiation, chemotherapy, biotherapies, or surgery, affect each person differently. Catherine is clearly in treatment and needs all the care and encouragement she can get, not pity or harsh words. Let's focus on supporting her through this challenging time. Those who attacked Catherine seem to be working for Meghan, as some have been paid to spread malicious comments. Just think about the awful things that were said about the Princess of Wales. What goes around comes around, and hopefully the support for Catherine will only grow stronger. Meghan's actions only highlight her negative traits, and she will never be able to measure up to the grace and beloved status of Catherine. Harry and Meghan stand out as the only dysfunctional members of the royal family who seem lost in how to behave both within the family and in the public eye. Meghan spent much of her life aiming to be part of a specific family, and when she finally achieved that, she threw it all away. It's unfortunate that Harry and Meghan are the ones bringing unnecessary drama to the royal family, but in time, at least one of them may learn some valuable lessons about living in isolation. I believe Catherine is doing exactly the right thing by keeping her cancer treatment private, especially considering some of the harsh comments being made. I wish her and her beautiful family all the best, and she should take all the time she needs. Sweet lady, you are worth the wait. To be honest, some people are extremely rude. In case anyone isn't aware, Catherine is undergoing cancer treatment. She is a mother of 3 young children, and her health and well-being are the top priority right now. The unkindness being directed at her is not only disrespectful but also completely unnecessary. I'm thankful not to have anyone like that in my life. Expressing such hostility towards someone they don't even know personally is highly unusual behavior, so much so that it may require help. In conclusion, I can affirm once more that Princess Catherine of Wales has shown incredible strength, duty, and compassion, even while facing her own personal battle with cancer. Her decision to write an emotional letter to the Irish Guards, wishing them success during the Colonel's review, is a remarkable display of leadership and sensitivity. This gesture goes beyond mere obligation. It showcases her deep values and unwavering commitment to those she serves. Despite facing adversity, Princess Catherine's actions possess a profound elegance. She manages to balance her own health challenges with the significant responsibilities of her public role. This blend of strength and empathy not only enhances her regal presence but also makes her beloved among the public, who see her as a symbol of genuine warmth and resilience. Writing to the regiment while undergoing cancer treatment speaks volumes about her character. It highlights her ability to remain connected and supportive even while dealing with her own fears and struggles. This quality sets her apart and makes her a role model for modern royalty. Princess Catherine's care and consideration for the soldiers she leads reflect a compassionate mindset that prioritizes the well-being and morale of others, even in challenging times. This moment also prompts us to reflect on the true essence of great leadership. Her actions show that true leadership isn't about grand gestures or flashy displays. It's about offering quiet, steady support and encouragement to those around you. It's about maintaining connections even when physically distant and fostering bonds that rise above personal struggles. As we admire Princess Catherine, let's remember the strength it takes to fulfill one's duties with grace and dignity, especially in the face of personal challenges. Her cancer treatment, which may involve the heartbreaking loss of her beautiful hair, is a deeply personal and tough experience. Yet, this vulnerability does not signify weakness, rather, it highlights her resilience and humanity. Our thoughts and prayers are with Princess Catherine, and we hope for her complete and swift recovery. May she continue to inspire us all with her elegance and determination, both as a royal leader and as a remarkable individual facing one of life's toughest challenges with dignity and strength. It's true that Princess Catherine doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. No one has the right to dictate how someone should handle a cancer diagnosis, as there is no right or wrong way to cope with it. Critiques only add to the guilt that the princess already feels after facing conspiracy theories, the harmful comments from the Sussex squad, and ongoing negativity from critics. The Prince of Wales should be allowed to recover in whatever way she deems necessary. It's unfortunate that some individuals on these platforms resort to insulting others. I wonder why putting others down is seen as a way to feel better about themselves. Perhaps they should take a moment to reflect on their actions. It seems they might have a job for you as a result of this. The more people attack Catherine with malice and ill intentions, the more beautiful and strong she must be to upset them. Harry and Meghan stand out as the only dysfunctional members of the royal family who seem unable to behave properly, both within and outside the royal family. Meghan spent her entire life wanting to be part of a specific family, and when she finally achieved that goal, the only significant thing she ever accomplished, she let it slip away. So, Harry and Meghan are the only problematic royals, and I believe that at least one of them will eventually learn important lessons about living in the public eye. On the other hand, I believe Catherine is handling her situation perfectly by keeping her cancer treatment private, especially given the comments above. I wish her and her lovely family all the best, and I hope she takes all the time she needs. Sweet lady, you are worth the wait. To be honest, some people can be incredibly rude. For those who may not know, Catherine is undergoing cancer treatment. As a mother of 3 young children, her health and well-being are the top priorities. This behavior is not only impolite, but also very unpleasant. I'm thankful that I don't have anyone like that in my life. It's truly unusual for people to express such uncalled for hostility towards someone they don't know personally, and it's behavior that may require reflection or even help. In conclusion, I can reaffirm that Princess Catherine of Wales has shown immense duty and compassion even while facing her battle with cancer. Her decision to write an emotional letter to the Irish Guards wishing them success during the Colonel's review is an admirable display of leadership and sensitivity. This gesture goes beyond mere obligation. It highlights her strong values and unwavering commitment to those she leads. In the face of adversity, Princess Catherine's actions radiate a profound elegance. She manages to balance the burden of her health challenges with the significant responsibilities of her public role. How desperate was Meghan Markle to be famous? It seems that she invested all her money with the single intention of making the right connections to achieve fame, without really showcasing any notable talent or putting in the effort required for it. Harry and Meghan, who consider themselves A-listers, are now facing a harsh reality. It appears that no one is eager to invite them. After leaving the royal family and moving to California with dreams of a glamorous lifestyle, they find themselves struggling to gain the attention they desire. The couple was notably excluded from one of the year's biggest social events, the wedding of Hugh Grosvenor, the Duke of Westminster, an obvious blow to their lofty ambitions. Royal expert Richard Fitzwilliams humorously pointed out that Harry and Meghan are having difficulty securing invitations to prestigious events in the US, such as the Met Gala or the Oscars. Even though they made it onto Time magazine's top 100 list in 2021, they still missed out on attending Barack Obama's 60th birthday celebration, an event they would have certainly wanted to be part of. Clearly, the path to the recognition that Harry and Meghan are so eager for is long and winding. This latest snub underscores their awkward and unsuccessful attempts to break into Hollywood's elite circles. Will they continue to live in the illusion of their fame, or will they confront the harsh reality that they are merely fleeting stars? Initially, their arrival did open some doors. People reached out, believing their tales of royalty and the supposed jealousy from the royal family. Tyler Perry provided them with free flights and a luxury home to stay in rent-free. Other celebrities publicly offered their support, and companies lined up with multi-million-dollar contracts, book deals, and public speaking opportunities. In fact, they received everything they requested because people felt sympathy for their quest to thrive and lead a peaceful life. However, many years later, Americans are now much wiser and more informed. They see through the stories and fabrications, leading them to back off and distance themselves. People are clever no matter where they are. If they possess negative traits, those characteristics will always be apparent. Only foolish people believe they can escape the consequences of their wrongdoings. Up until now, they have never truly been A-listers. It seems they both mistakenly assumed that having titles would automatically open all doors for them and that VIPs would eagerly welcome them with open arms. In reality, the opposite has happened. All doors are locked and bolted to this undesirable pair. The more they seek acknowledgement from others, the more they appear to be just an unwanted couple. While they may have titles, they no longer hold any significance or impress anyone. It's hard to find the right words to describe this couple. One advantage they share is that both seem a bit out of touch with reality. Husband and wife are crazy together. Harry and Meghan, who once shocked the world with their bold moves, now find themselves in a pitiful and well-deserved predicament. After leaving behind the royal family to pursue fame in Hollywood, they've ended up losing everything. No longer in the spotlight, they find themselves on the outside, drifting through America's elite circles. It's satisfying to see Meghan, who once showed such indifference and betrayal, now facing the same coldness from the very people she sought to impress. She expected Hollywood to embrace her, but reality had other plans. The extravagant parties, the glitzy events, all have closed their doors to her. Harry, once a beloved prince, now stands as a mere shadow next to his wife, stripped of the glamour he once had. Their falsehoods and dramatic displays can no longer hide the truth. They've caused their own downfall. It's a fitting end for those who turned their backs on their family and hurt the ones who cared for them. Their reckless decisions have led to their complete collapse, and now the world watches, amused at their downfall. At first, the doors were thrown open wide for them, but after people got to know the pair, those same doors were quickly shut and locked tight. Meghan, not Harry, longs for these invitations. She's dreamed of this lifestyle her whole life, and when she couldn't achieve it on her own, she believed marrying a prince would be her golden ticket. That's why so many Hollywood stars, like George Clooney, who admitted he didn't even know her, were invited to their wedding. Others, like Reese Witherspoon, turned down the invite because they had no real connection, which is likely why the invitations have stopped coming over the years. Why should that change now? They were also left out of major events like Obama's 60th birthday, Oprah's celebrations, and even the Emmys. No one wants them around. Meghan truly thought marrying Harry would open every door for her, but it hasn't, neither in the US. Nor in the UK, not at all. They've already missed the Met Gala and the biggest wedding of the year, leaving only the Oscars. Now, Mr. Quinn, their go-to in Los Angeles, is stirring up the usual speculation: will they be invited, or will they skip because they don't want to steal the spotlight? This happens at every event, but the public sees right through it. Mr. Quinn should take note: there's no need for overthinking. They will never be invited to an A-list event. Loose lips sink ships, and Hollywood is well aware. No one wants someone who can't be trusted in their inner circle. Plus, the A-listers prefer to keep good relations with the monarchy. They know that getting too close to this pair would end any chance of future invitations from the palace. Meghan hasn't even acted. Why would she even expect an invitation to the Oscars? As a seat filler, perhaps? It's amusing to think she might hope for a spot at one of Hollywood's most prestigious events without having made any real contribution to the industry. Maybe she believes that her constant presence in the media and controversial interviews qualify her for a seat among the film world's elite. But Hollywood, much like the British royal family, runs on merit and talent, neither of which she has shown in acting. Her sense of entitlement is almost laughable, as if she thinks marrying Prince Harry will magically open every door for her. But reality is proving to be a much tougher critic. The truth is, Meghan's efforts to present herself as a serious public figure often miss the mark. She has no significant body of work, no memorable roles, nothing that would earn her an Oscar invite except pure audacity. Let's be honest, her claim of wanting a quiet life is nothing but a charade. Every move she makes and every word she speaks seems carefully designed to keep her in the spotlight, from tell-all interviews to high-profile lawsuits. She thrives on attention and drama. It's ironic that someone who supposedly craves privacy is one of the most overexposed figures on the planet. The constant contradictions in her words and actions only fuel the public's growing skepticism. One minute she's complaining about invasions of privacy, and the next she's revealing personal details on global platforms. This inconsistency not only damages her credibility but also exposes her hypocrisy. Meghan's true talent seems to lie in grabbing headlines, not earning respect. Her relentless pursuit of recognition and status is clear, but the public isn't so easily fooled. The truth is, Hollywood doesn't need another fame seeker with no real substance to offer. If Meghan truly wants to be taken seriously, maybe she should focus on making real contributions instead of chasing the spotlight through controversy. It's hard to say what talent she believes she has when failure seems to follow her around. Now, she's putting her new lifestyle brand at risk because she's missing two key elements needed for a successful business launch. 3 months ago, she announced her venture with an overly flashy webpage, supposedly selling various items. Yet, 3 months later, there's nothing available to buy or ship. Starting a new business, whether it's selling jam or anything else, requires a clear plan. First, get the business organized and hire staff. Second, make sure those employees are paid and stock your products so they're ready to ship when orders come in, which means paying your suppliers upfront. Third, open the business fully prepared to sell. Fourth, launch the website. And finally, pull off a publicity stunt like sending the product to celebrities. These steps must follow a specific order. Steps 1 and 2 need to be done first, with steps 3, 4, and 5 happening together. But Meghan skipped straight to steps 4 and 5, launching a website and doing publicity, only to be met with silence. There was no solid business foundation, no product to sell, and no staff to run the operations. As a result, the world moved on and her so-called business remains non-existent. It's hard to cripple a business that doesn't even exist. No one in their right mind would invite them anywhere, no matter the event, whether it's for charity, education, or a red carpet affair. As soon as you know who grabs the mic, the whole event becomes all about her. But weren't they the ones who said they wanted privacy? It seems even that excuse is wearing thin, and not even the neighbors are inviting them to events anymore. You're getting what you asked for, you can't pick and choose. Do you really believe it's just about money? There are only so many seats available, whether at the Met Gala or the Academy Awards. With hundreds of seats and thousands of actors, do you think they'd make room for Meghan? The idea is laughable. These events are reserved for those who have truly contributed to the arts, not for someone who has merely used a royal title to chase temporary fame. Meghan's belief that she belongs in these elite circles is astonishing. The truth is, her notoriety comes more from scandal than any real accomplishment. Hollywood and high society value talent, hard work, and meaningful contributions. Meghan, however, has built her public image on controversy and playing the victim, neither of which earns her a rightful place among true artists and influencers. Moreover, her failure to launch a credible business only emphasizes her lack of understanding of what it truly takes to succeed outside the royal bubble. Real entrepreneurs and creatives spend years perfecting their craft, learning their trade, and building something of real worth. Meghan's approach, marked by shortcuts and surface-level efforts, only highlights how out of touch she is with this reality. It brings to mind the old saying, "You can't buy class." Meghan's attempts to force her way into Hollywood's elite circles are a perfect example of this truth. Her constant victimhood narrative, paired with her demands for recognition and admiration, has become not only exhausting but also increasingly obvious. In the end, Meghan's quest for acceptance among the A-listers seems destined to fail, not due to a lack of resources, but because of her disregard for the core values that truly define those circles. Integrity, hard work, and genuine talent aren't things that can be faked or forced. Until Meghan understands and embraces these values, her place in the spotlight will remain as fragile and manufactured as her public image. If you check the celebrity sections of major sites, they're full of awards, parties, and events, yet Harry and Meghan are rarely invited. The royal family may have had a challenging start to the year, but they've handled it gracefully. Princess Catherine, the true star, is recovering in private, and despite all of Harry and Meghan's efforts, they've barely made a dent in her popularity. Catherine continues to receive far more attention and well wishes even in her absence, while Harry and Meghan flood the media with daily PR pieces. They aren't invited to A-list events because they simply aren't A-listers. Instead, they use these occasions to promote themselves, as Meghan embarrassingly did at the Lion King premiere by pitching to Disney. It's clear why they're left out. The Markle woman seems to be on the lookout for events where she can show up half-dressed without any first ladies complaining. I wonder if the dim one has ever considered that Meghan is not just trying to undermine the monarchy, but also him. After all, she clearly doesn't have his best interest at heart. If she did, she would have advised him against mentioning his drug use in his book. Any good partner would certainly have done that. Now, his reputation is in ruins with no friends or family to support him. I would love for them to call her bluff and invite her as a keynote speaker, ensuring there are plenty of hecklers in the audience. That would be entertaining. Her ego is too inflated for her to see the consequences of their behavior over the past few years. It's no surprise they aren't invited to any list events. They can't be trusted not to leak information. Harry is no longer considered an A-lister just because of his royal background, and Meghan was never more than a C-lister at best. Additionally, Markle seems unable to behave appropriately in public, often making herself look ridiculous. They've been reduced to gay-crashing events, buying their way in, or relying on those gullible enough to give them a hand. It's a big calm down from the grand plans they once had. Why would anyone invite an ex-prince who barely graduated high school, married to a Z-list celebrity? It's true that Meghan can't compare to Catherine. Together, Meghan and Harry will never match the success of Catherine and William. In fact, Meghan's jealousy and envy are evident, yet she always has to lie about it. She even met a journalist and said she wouldn't mind if she never saw William and Catherine again, but she felt sad knowing her children had no relationship with George, Charlotte, and Louis. She would have loved for that to happen, but the Wales family has made it clear they don't want anything to do with her. If it were me, I would do the same as Catherine and keep my distance from that toxic woman. It makes me wonder what kind of relationship Harry and Meghan truly have. Are they genuinely happy as a couple, or is what we see just the tip of the iceberg? Is it all a facade for this scammer couple? Why do I say that? Sources suggest that Meghan knows deep down that Harry wants to repair his relationship with his family, especially after the news about Catherine made him more determined to try. But she thinks Harry is naive and worries that he still can't trust William. She fears he'll be fooled again and that William will take advantage of him. Meghan believes she makes better decisions than Harry because she doesn't let her emotions dictate her actions, but she's scared of losing control in the situation. Okay, I might not know her past or their story, but if those words came from another woman, I would think, wow, what a wonderful and wise wife. Anyone who marries her would surely be happy to have someone who thinks about her husband and wants to protect him. But since it's Meghan, I find it amusing. It's almost as if she's so nice that she thinks poorly of William and Catherine. Our prince and princess don't even think about them, let alone pay them any mind. Who do they think they are? What do they have that's worth taking advantage of? In reality, Meghan and Harry are the ones constantly looking for ways to exploit the royal family and profit off the British public. Honestly, I can't help but feel that this is just a face-saving PR move by Markle. She seems desperate for a little bit of that royal shine to rub off on her. Let's be honest, she's tarnished goods, so she would jump at the chance to be photographed with real royalty. It's much easier for her to brush her way back into the spotlight than to sell jam. So why not use underhanded tactics to make her come back? It's hard to feel sympathy for someone so ambitious and scheming. Meghan hasn't faced any karma so far. She's often said she's terrified of returning to the UK because the public dislikes her, but she's also afraid that if she doesn't go with Harry, she won't be able to control what he talks about or what the King and Prince William might say to him privately. If she does go back, I guarantee there will be a public event where she has to face William and Catherine, and she'll be forced to curtsy to Catherine, the Princess of Wales. She can't stand that Catherine is so well loved and respected. While Catherine is admired, Meghan is often viewed as a gold digger and a social climber. Most of Harry's friends have distanced themselves from him because of her. What use could William have for Harry if, in 5 years, he hasn't accomplished anything truly worthwhile? Honestly, can we get Meghan some help? She seems overly paranoid, thinking she's something she's not. I'm pretty sure Catherine and William don't even recognize Meghan's name. It's too close to a call for attention. When you sell yourself, it's not always for money. In Meghan's case, she craves fame, recognition, and wealth. She believes she's above everyone else and desperately wants to be adored by men. The common term for someone like Meghan isn't flattering, it's more like tart, and not even a sweet strawberry, but more of a bitter lemon. Oh no, Meghan brought her mysterious children into the story herself. She seems disappointed that her kids won't know the children of Wales, as if it's somehow William and Catherine's fault. What on earth? She and Harry should be responsible for their own family relationships. The breakdown between the royal family and figures like the late Queen? Prince Philip, Charles, Camilla, William, Catherine, Charlotte, Edward, and Sophie is on them. She might not be agitated, but it's important to remember who is truly responsible for feeling bad toward others. They are the root cause of this situation. Nobody told Meghan to keep using William and Catherine and their young family as talking points for her publicity. Instead, Meghan should focus on her father, who wants to see her and her brother, and maybe take a happy family picture with the Markles and Harry. Can she even do those things? Her family hasn't resolved their issues, yet she keeps poking fun at other people's families. It's unbelievable. I believe William and Catherine are wise to protect their children by keeping their distance from Meghan. Harry should have known better than to humiliate his immediate family. Did it not occur to him that his father and stepmother are in their 70s and don't have many years left? If he had thought like that, we wouldn't be in this situation today. The royal family could have enjoyed peace for many years. Now, does anyone even care if Meghan will cross paths with them again? The real ones suffering are the kids. It seems they may never meet their grandparents, uncles, aunts, and cousins, nor will they ever enjoy vacations at Balmoral or attend family festivities, all because of their parents' short-sighted actions. All families have their differences, including the royal family. Differences are normal, but is it really worth lying in an interview and disrespecting your father, brother, and grandparents? They couldn't handle the late Queen, what a clever lady she was. Meghan and Harry are the ones who have ruined the beautiful lives of their children. No one forced them into these choices. Their feet walk on their own, and no one makes decisions for them. They shouldn't go back and blame anyone if their children end up blaming and resenting them in the future. I hope Meghan and Harry can acknowledge this and seek forgiveness. Dan, it's actually quite the opposite. Harry's harsh attacks on the royal family have backfired spectacularly on both him and Meghan. There are rumors that Prince William trying to bring Harry back into the royal fold is not only unrealistic, but almost absurd. Harry's ongoing pursuit of Hollywood fame and his disregard for royal responsibilities make it clear that he has no interest in the life William envisions. Each controversial interview and self-centered memoir pushes Harry further away from the duties he was born into. Why should William even think about reaching out to someone who repeatedly undermines the family for personal gain? Harry has shown little respect for the responsibilities that come with being a royal, focusing instead on benefiting from his royal connections while ignoring the obligations. The idea of Harry returning to his royal duties isn't just unlikely, it's completely out of touch with the choices he's made. In the bigger picture, Harry doesn't deserve another chance. His actions show a deep disregard for the institution that once supported him. Trying to bring him back isn't just noble, it's a lost cause. Harry has made his decisions, and now he has to live with them, far from the responsibilities and the family he has betrayed. On top of all this, I think Prince William has had enough of Harry's behavior. William has spent his life looking out for Harry and dealing with his issues. Now, Harry is married to a woman who's been divorced twice, and she seems to have taken control. William isn't jealous of Harry, he's just genuinely worried about his mental health. What's even more amusing is hearing people say it's William who's jealous of Harry. That's honestly quite laughable. Prince William is happily married to a loving and supportive wife with 3 wonderful children who are healthy and well-adjusted. He has a good relationship with his family, recently took on more responsibilities at work, and seems content with his busy life and the growing demands that come with it. William has always been a symbol of duty and responsibility, both in his royal role and as a husband and father. He understands the importance of his position and carries it with honor. Unlike his brother Harry, who has chosen a more self-focused and public lifestyle, William has stayed dedicated to serving his country and caring for his family. William's commitment is clear in his work with various charities, his involvement in mental health causes, and his regular participation in public and royal events. He represents the core values of duty and service that define the monarchy, never backing down from the expectations placed on him. At home, William is a devoted husband to Catherine and an engaged father to their 3 children. Despite his busy public life, he always puts his family first. His ability to manage these responsibilities with grace and humility speaks to his strong character and unwavering commitment. In a world where many choose personal gain over responsibility, William stands as a shining example of what it means to serve with honor and integrity. Prince William's commitment to both his public and private roles sets a high standard that is truly inspiring. On the other hand, it seems clear that Harry has long been jealous of William's life. Even before William married Catherine, Harry seemed envious, especially when he saw the family William and Catherine built together. Watching William's children push him further down the line of succession likely frustrated him even more. But Harry's issues started long before that. Perhaps he could have found his way if it weren't for Meghan, who many see as manipulative and self-serving. Now, with her influence, Harry has lost much of the world's respect. Instead of clinging to his past as a royal, Harry would do well to let go of it and focus on building a new life. It's clear to most that Harry and Meghan should stop trying to market themselves as something they no longer are. To many, their actions have hurt Queen Elizabeth, which is unforgivable in the eyes of countless British subjects and people worldwide. Far from being jealous of Harry, it seems William is more humiliated by his younger brother's choices. Harry, urged on by Meghan, gave up everything to move far away, and it's likely William doesn't approve of Meghan at all. He even warned Harry about her, but his advice went unheard. Now, Harry's life is filled with scandals and lawsuits, and William has watched helplessly as his brother's once promising future crumbled under Meghan's influence. Had Harry married someone kinder and more grounded, both his life and his relationship with William would have been better. Instead, Meghan's presence has fueled family tensions. William, known for his sense of duty, likely sees Meghan's behavior as damaging, and his dislike for her is understandable. To make matters worse, Harry seems to have bought into a narrative about unconscious racism that only deepened the rift between him and the royal family. Accusing people who have no history of racism of being racist simply because they're unaware of it is baffling. William was only advising Harry to slow down and ensure Meghan was the right partner for him, something understandable given their family history of failed marriages. Even William took his time before proposing to Catherine, likely wanting to avoid the kind of marital strife he witnessed growing up. Now, Harry seems bitter and unlikely to reconcile with William unless there's an apology, which seems unlikely. Historically, the palace protected Harry when he acted out, but now, with Meghan by his side, there's little anyone can do to stop the chaos. The couple has gone off the rails, and the world has watched their downward spiral unfold. While some people support Harry and Meghan, the majority see through their narcissism. Their attempts to manipulate the press and the public haven't worked, as social media sentiment shows widespread criticism of their actions. The upcoming Netflix docuseries is likely to be a spectacle given that they seem unaware of how out of touch they appear. Harry and Meghan seem to think the royal family owes them an apology, but it's hard to see what for. The palace hasn't confirmed any wrongdoing, though rumors have circulated about the Queen finally cutting ties after their South African tour. Regardless, fatigue over the Sussex drama has set in, and it's doubtful the public will be interested in more of their complaints. Meghan likely thought that being a senior member of the British royal family would be more glamorous and exciting than it turned out to be. Despite her degree from a top university, it seems she may not have fully understood the reality of her position. Meghan must have known before marrying Harry that he would never be king, and that the focus would naturally remain on William and Catherine, the future king and queen consort. As time passed, Harry and Meghan would naturally become less important in the royal hierarchy. It's also possible that long before Meghan came into the picture, Harry was already harboring jealousy toward William. His envy, fueled by feelings of inadequacy, likely built up over the years. Harry may have spent much of his life competing with William, trying to prove his own worth, and that jealousy has morphed into the resentment we see now. The truth is, Harry has never really respected his brother or the history of their country. He would benefit from seeking professional help to deal with his personal issues and learn how to be a better man. Unfortunately, Meghan may have been the worst possible match for Harry. She seems to feed his insecurities and shares his delusions that they should be equal in status to William and Catherine, which simply isn't the case. Meghan should look at the past royal family members like Princess Anne and Prince Andrew, who were once as important as Harry was. They too eventually found their roles diminished, a natural part of being the spare. While it may be sad, it's the reality. Meghan never fully understood or accepted that. Catherine, on the other hand, always knew what marrying into the royal family would entail. She has taken on her role with grace and understands that being in the spotlight, attending events even when it's raining or inconvenient, is part of the job. But it's not all hard work. She has the opportunity to help people and make a difference, and she has the resources to do so. Catherine is also clearly devoted to William. Their 10 years of marriage are a testament to their love and partnership, and she has worked hard to fulfill her duties without ever embarrassing her husband or the royal family. In contrast, Meghan and Harry's relationship seems strained and dysfunctional. Harry has looked unhappy for a long time, and many believe their marriage will eventually end in divorce. Their children are growing up without the benefit of extended family, which is unfortunate. If Meghan leaves Harry, as some predict, it will be devastating for him. Returning to Catherine, she is a perfect fit for her role. She's beautiful, genuine, and dedicated to her family and her public duties. She has earned the admiration of many for her work, her style, and her ability to connect with people. Despite the challenges of royal life, Catherine seems fulfilled. She and William share a strong, loving marriage, which gives her the strength to face the pressures of public life. Their 3 children are well behaved and clearly loved, forming a close-knit family that many admire. Catherine's natural ability to manage her public life without compromising her private one has made her a beloved figure. She has embraced her role with dignity and has shown that she understands the delicate balance between serving the public and protecting her family's privacy. She even manages her relationship with the press wisely, periodically releasing photos of her children to satisfy public curiosity while maintaining control over their exposure. It's evident that Catherine has taken the time to prepare for her role and has a strong support system in both her family and the royal family. She does her research, attends events with grace, and never needs flashcards to guide her conversations. She's authentic, and that authenticity resonates with people. Catherine and William are relatable and approachable, often seen as a couple who could sit down with anyone, whether it's to help someone in need or simply to chat over a cup of tea. Despite having a nanny to help with their busy lives, Catherine and William are hands-on parents, as evidenced by the closeness they share with their children. They have shown that they can balance the demands of public life with the responsibilities of parenting, and their children are growing up in a loving and supportive environment. Catherine is adored by many, not only because she is beautiful and capable, but also because she exudes warmth and sincerity. She's a strong woman who knows her strengths and when to ask for help. She supports William as much as he supports her, making them a formidable team. While Meghan dreams of achieving the same kind of respect and admiration, it's clear that she will never reach Catherine's level. Catherine's position in the royal family, her grace, and her authenticity are qualities that Meghan lacks. William made the right choice when he chose Catherine, and their relationship is a model of stability and happiness. Catherine has proven that she is well suited for the life she chose. She has learned her duties well and has never let the pressures of her role get to her head. Unlike Meghan, who has often tried to do things her own way without understanding or respecting the traditions of the royal family, Catherine has embraced the responsibilities that come with her title. Ultimately, it's not just about love, it's about compatibility, respect, and a shared understanding of what it means to be a royal. Catherine and William have that, and that's why they have been so successful, both in their marriage and in their public roles. Meghan and Harry, on the other hand, have struggled to understand what it means to serve the public, focusing far too much on themselves. This difference is why William and Catherine will continue to thrive while Meghan and Harry face ongoing challenges.